Go and welcome everybody. This is the Hawkeye trading session. Today is Wednesday, October 14th. We'll be going till from 8 to about 9:30 this morning, and then at 10 o'clock, Susan Batchelder has her session in the room. So we have to be out of here before then, or else we will get kicked out. So we'll go on to 9:30, and we'll get the disclaimer out of the way, and we shall get started. The trading the foreign exchange on margin carries a high level of risk and may not be suitable for all investors. The high degree of leverage can work against you as well as for you. Before deciding to invest in foreign exchange, you should carefully consider your investment objective, level of experience, and risk appetite. The possibility exists that you could sustain a loss of some or all of your initial investment, and therefore you should not invest money that you cannot afford to lose. You should be aware of the risks associated with foreign exchange trading and seek advice from an independent financial advisor if you have any doubts. This is a live trading session. It is for educational purposes only. No financial advice or recommendations will be provided. Any trade taken during this session is not a recommendation or a suggestion that you should also do the same. Past performance is not indicative of future results. Do not trade money that you cannot afford to lose. Before trading live, always operate with a written trade plan that identifies the rules for entry, exit targets, and risk management. And having said that, we shall go to the charts. And right now, the last alert we had was a Aussie US ascending wedge. So here's what I did with that one. We can see that if you look at or at least the last couple of days, you can see it's been kind of coming in a downward trending motion. So what I did was I drew a wedge, and actually this upper parallel, this purple one, the upper one. I'm going to take this one off here because we don't need this one right now. The upper parallel. This was a wedge that we drew a couple of days ago. Actually, probably yesterday, maybe is where this one was. I'm going to take that one off. But we see that we had an upper trend line, which was all the way back here on the 11th, which is 3 days ago. And it's holding that trend line for the last 3 days. So that one's still in play. That one's still in and I'm going to make sure I lock that one in so we don't move it. This is going to be our reference. And so we had the wedge alert at 7 o'clock. So what I did was I'm looking at, it was ascending. So I wanted to start down the bottom, move my way up to the top, and let's look and see what's going on in this area. So from yesterday's close to here was this low where I put the A was pretty much right in line with where this one was. Here was a high, here's a low, here's a lower high, here's a slightly higher low, but near the flat bottom. These 3 points right here are pretty close to the bottom of where this thing may be turning around. So I'm kind of suspecting that we may get a little turnaround on this today. We had a nice move down, and now we're getting near the bottom of this trend. And you can see now we have it's actually forming a wedge all the way out in this area. When I drew the alert, here's where the alert came in, and nothing's really changed any with other fact it's we had a high, a low. This one made a slightly higher high, came back down, made a lower low. But if you look in this little area right here, you had a little bit of a flag pattern. So we had to move up, a little bit of a flag pattern. So this part is actually, if you can look and see, this is actually, I can actually put this high here. So this is high, low, higher low. Then we had the alert. And what's really happened is that when we had the alert from this little area right here, nice move pattern up, here's a flag. I'm going to go and make this a different color than this one, just for illustration purposes. I'm going to go over to the 5-minute chart, and we'll just blow this up a little bit. So here's the orange one is our bigger wedge. Let me just go move this up to, I'm just going to move this up to here. So I have a nice little triangle. Here is where the alert was. Right when we had the alert, we got the breakout of the bottom. If we take this and move this one where the bottom broke, you can see it's trying to break out of the top. We have the high, a lower high, Now this one's coming up to re-challenge this trend line right here. This one was already, this one, well, from this little flag area in here, we had a low, a high, lower high. Now this one got broken right at the alert. So the question is it now was that the head fake? And is it going to break out the top? If it breaks out of the top, now we've got this trend, this major trend line coming in. If this gets broken, this could be the turnaround point of this strong move down for the last 3 days, and then it may break to the upside. But right now we are in this consolidation area. So I'm not going to be in too big of a hurry to take it. And I'm going to be looking at bounces off of here, looking bounces off of here. And right now we're pretty much smack dab in the middle of this whole region right here. So if we go with our, get some fib tools up, just put some reference, price point references up here, you can see that we are right in the middle between the green and the red zones. This is the middle of that higher time frame. Remember we said that we'd like to go from blue to the blue, which is support resistance, to blue to support resistance. You can see we are right in the middle of this whole range. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw, yep, I got it, from the blue, here's to the blue. And you see all of our, this is, make this blue to blue here. Should have one of those up there. I'm just going to make this blue.
Morning, Jay.
And we're going to make this one blue here.
We got a pretty good crowd this morning.
Oh, good. We like having good crowds.
Yeah, exactly.
There we go.
I like it to the long side, Al, right now, but I'm not going to take it until it breaks the wedge by 2 pips and we get a nice candle close.
Yeah.
So.
See, so right now we are right in the middle of this whole region. Here's the blue. Here's a blue line down here. And so this is, so basically these are the two support and resistance, support, and we're right in the middle. So if it does break, I'm not going to expect it to go too much further other than maybe you might catch a top third up here. It may go another third. Let's see if I can show this from, I'm going to break this one into a third here. And then I'm going to break this one into a third. So we're going to have a little bit of an area. If it does break here, I would expect to come up into the middle of this black zone. If it breaks out of this area, I'm going to expect to come, there'll be another black zone down here when I draw this. And these are going to be your, so this is all your bigger third, middle third, bottom third, and then the top third and the bottom third are broken down into thirds as well. So if this does break, I would expect it to come up into here or come down into this area right down here. Until that breaks, I'm not doing anything. Now, if I can see where I get some strength down here for even inside the wedge, where, or if I have all the moving averages in the right order, then I may take a shot if there's enough room up to this point. If this thing breaks, it's probably going to come right up into this blue zone. If it breaks the bottom, it's probably going to come down to this blue zone. And if you take a measurement and see what kind of range we have, if it breaks, we'll just say if it breaks the wedge from here, if it comes down, you've got 14 pips. There's enough room to take it, but you only have about 7 pips till you get to the other side of where this major trend line channel is. That's this purple, the purple line. If it breaks the top, like, well, see, I'm going to move this on up to, let's see, D. Let me move this down to, let me move this to the low of where the wedge alert was. And we have our D, the top part of this one. Now we do have a little bit of slope coming down. We had a high, a low, lower high, lower low, but it still came right back and formed this trend line here. So now we have, that's just our first hit. Here's our first test. If it can bounce, if it, next time it comes down to this line, that may be the point where we're going to have to be looking to see if it breaks it on the third hit. it may keep going lower. I would expect another bounce off of here. And that's my analysis of this whole thing. Matt, do you want to add anything? And also, before Matt answers my question, we have our moving averages, and here's our 30 minutes 62, the blue one. It came up, it broke it, came back, tested it, broke it again, tested deeper, and now this is getting a little bit of a wedge right in here. If I were to take it and move this over to where the C can form a wedge from the D to here to hit A, D, and we have a lower high, higher low. It's just what this is doing is certain to, we have a parallel of the purple line. We have a parallel from the D to where I put the C to where I have a straight line with an anchor, a hit, into the point, anchor, here's a hit. Now we're going to see what happens right up in here. Until then, there's really no real clear definition or direction which way it's going to go. And on our 5-minute chart, we only have a 3-point spread with the Aussie to the strength. And on the 15-minute, we can see what we have a 3-point spread with our Aussie to the strength on the 15-minute. So right now, everything is pretty much just basing, trying to figure out which way it's going to break out. Take it away, Matt, if you have a question or do you have any comment about this?
I'm just checking something. Hold on. I'll need about 2 minutes. Then I'll start sharing my screen.
Okay. Do we have any other questions? Any other questions? Do we have any questions, period, or anybody want to make a comment of what they're seeing?
Yeah,
we have a couple of traders here that seem to have some pretty good input to some of these things that we're doing this morning.
I'm just setting something up. We're going to see if it's going to work.
I know there's a lot of lines on here, but if I'm looking at our moving averages right now, we have our 62, 13, and 5 all moving in the right direction to go long. On the 5-minute chart, we have our 62, 13, and 5 with a little bit more of a spread on our 5 and 13 to go long. And a little pullback on that right now. And then we have our 62, 13, and the 5 are out of whack. They just have switched over right in here, which tells me that this thing is either going to pull back to bounce off the 62 or it's going to come down and retest the bottom. And so if we have our 62 repeater lines over here, here's our 5-minute. Over here's our 62 on the 3. So right now we have, if it comes down, it's got to get through the 5 and it's got to get through the 15, 62. So this could be a little bit of a trap right in here where it comes down, could break this, bounce off of this one, and then come back down. I would not want to take it short at this point with that 71.75 down to 71.70. There's only a 4-pip spread between where the price is right now until it gets down into this little trap right in this area.
Yeah, there's a word of caution around taking a trade where the 30-minute 62 is flat.
Yes. It's not
at least in my back testing, that's not good. And I
like seeing the 62s pointing in one direction or the other.
Flat means there's too much consolidation. So it's trying to do something big. Yeah, and that means you're probably not going to get in very tight.
As you look to see where it's been crossing this 30-minute 62, I mean, here's the 5 on this. We're on a 5-minute chart. It crosses the 5, crosses the 30, comes back down, crosses the 30 again, comes back, crosses the 30. A little bit less punch the second time, but you can see where this thing has been coming down, and all of a sudden now it's starting to flatten out. Nothing crossed it or nothing challenged it until this candle right here, back here at 4:30 this morning. And now it's been going back and forth over the 62. It goes up from the bottom. Here's a big move up, crosses it, little move up, cross, comes back down. This is pretty much a area of equilibrium. High crosses, low, crosses high, not quite as high as it went the last time. This one's still slightly coming down. And now we had a strong move up to cross it, and now we have a strong move down to cross it. So right now, this is where we're kind of in no man's land. And if we look to see what the range of this is, I mean, it might be enough range to take a trade, but you're going to have to be able to catch the extremes. That's 26 pips. but there's that 26 pip range is getting tighter and tighter and tighter. So we went from 26 to where we went from 26 range to a 17 pip range. And now we're going from a 17 pip range to a 13 pip range. So you can see where it's getting, again, it's making lower highs, higher lows. And we're just now waiting to see as it gets closer and closer to the end, it's going to break. But once it breaks, it's probably going to break to get back to retest this range right in here. And this is where we come up with these sticks that we talk about.
My stick target's 7,200.
Let's see what mine comes out to be from what I draw. Let me see. Stick. Here we go. So I'm going to take my stick from, I'm going to be looking at, I usually like taking somewhere the mid-range of the, this would be the extreme from here to the, this would be my most optimistic one, which would be, I'll take it down here to start at the bottom of the wedge, align it with the D. This is one stick. And then we have another option, if I clone that. The second option would be this one over here. I'd be looking at a little bit smaller as it gets more and more defined. So that makes sense there, Christine?
Yes, it does. But I have a question from Beach Panda, and I have some information from Jay. The question from Beach Panda is, where do all the moving averages come from that Al is using? Is that standard from TradingView subscription?
No.
Does it? All right. Does it?
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. Come with the colors. If it comes with TradingView, are there any specific settings that we? Okay, so you said it doesn't come with that, so that was answered.
Oh no, sorry. I answered too early.
That's all right.
I'm still all right. So yes, you can use any moving average on TradingView. It comes as a basic indicator, so you can put your customization. You can put whatever you want. You can change the colors. Some of our moving averages and the multiple moving averages and the FRPR and the RCS and the MRSI.
The Fibonacci price range plotter, which is the FRP.
Yeah, those ones. They're all customized. They're custom indicators. They're coded, but you can do basically a lot of that stuff just with a more expensive package with TradingView. The free version only allows you to put a couple indicators on the chart. I think it's 3 or 4. But we've combined like 7 or 8 indicators into 2 so that you can use a free version. So let's try this. Let's try this live. I'm doing something. I'm experimenting. It might work. It might not. Let me share my screen.
While you do that, I'm just going to read what Jay wrote. Retail trader data shows 43.14.
Oh yeah, I read that.
Okay. Is there anything that you think?
Nah,
Okay.
I don't hold a lot of weight to that because most traders are wrong anyway. But
right, that's why the consumer sentiment.
Yeah, I am not a fundamental trader whatsoever. I'll look for red folder news, but I'm not going into and looking for what other people are doing or what they're not doing.
The only thing we may do on occasions, we become contrarian of what the SSI is saying, that if you're looking at a pair of like the Aussie US and 90% of the traders are long, then we want to take the short sides because 90% of the traders are wrong. So we will go opposite of what the SSI's pack of traders are saying. It's like, so if everybody's going long, then we're going to be looking to go short because that's they're more likely, because they're definitely wrong. Yeah, that's about as fundamental as we get.
Yeah.
And then Beach Panda had just said that that he has the paid subscription for TradingView.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah.
Depends what shared with him.
Yeah.
Depends what version, because there's 3 versions. There's Pro Plus, and Premium. So Premium has a little bit more advantages. All right. Yeah, no, that's fine, Jay. I figured you probably weren't a fundamental trader in the first place, but I honestly don't hold a lot of weight to what other people. I'm just looking for the charts, and I'll show you why. In about a minute.
You ready to see your charts? Share your charts?
Yeah.
Looks
I
like
tried something.
Looks like this right now it's knocking on the door of the wedge of the wedge that I drew. We could break up, but remember, there's another wedge. We have this other wedge right here up on the top. So this is the major trend line. Here's our trend of the wedge, which is pretty much parallel with the trend line. If it breaks, this could be a trap right in here. If it doesn't, if this breaks and you get in, just remember you've got this whole zone up here that it's looking at, and this could be, if it does break here, this would be where the target is, and you could probably look at probably the middle of this blue zone, which I would be putting in right about to here for a potential target if you do take this trade going long. I'm not convinced I would take that trade, but we'll see what happens at the time when it happens. So, but anyway, I'd be looking at this as being a target.
All right,
Here's
I'm
where
gonna
the
just
wedge
make
is.
a copy of this. Hold on, make a copy.
Beach Panda just wants to know, he has a paid subscription. Can he get the settings later?
Yeah. Now, the tools that we've been sending, Beach Panda, I believe you should have it. If you don't, let me know because you should have it with the multiple moving averages. Basically, what this is, in case you missed this part of it, is you have the 3 moving averages. Now you can change the colors. I keep these colors consistent. The only thing that what does change though is that when you're on a 15-minute chart, when you switch chart from a 15 to chart to a 5-minute chart to a 1, when you switch to charts, rather than having to go into change your settings and change it to so they match mine, as you change the time frames, it automatically changes these 3 colors. And so this will always stay green on the for the 5-period exponential moving average. This will always stay yellow on the exponential moving average. But when you change chart time frames, it will automatically change from a 15-minute to a 5-minute to a 1-minute. And then down here, we also have a setting for the higher time frame, which is the blue one, which is basically our 30-minute exponential moving average. And that's why, and if I uncheck that, you'll see it goes away. So basically, this is just, these are the default settings of the software, and you can change it wherever you want. But if you want your charts to match what mine are doing, that's where you're going to do it. And then these are the whole moving averages, and that's all on one indicator.
All right. So let's take.
All right, I'm gonna stop. Are you ready to go? Share?
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm just trying to get my. It's called Ink to Go. So I can mark this up and show you kind of a little bit of what was in my head.
You see, right now it came right on up and it bounced right off of that. And this is on a 5-minute. So you have a 5-minute candle close, came up, touched the line, right, smack dab right, and then you can't get any closer than that, and it rejected it. And now we're seeing what's going to happen with this 5-minute candle. All of our moving averages are still in the right direction to break out to the top. We still have a reasonable spread. But I'm still not seeing a whole lot of commitment that's going to break to the upside. Okay. So I'm just going to stay out of that one.
I am ready. So
right, you got the charts.
Let's take a quick look at this. So this is my channel that I drew. Figure out where price was, highs and lows, just roughly did it. Then I saw my wedge. I drew that. Here's the alert. And then I took it to the 1 minute. So went down to the 1 minute. I was looking for my channel on the 1 minute. So tops and bottoms from the time of the wedge. So we're going up. Now we have an interesting location right here. We've got the wedge. We've got the channel. And then we've got a target. So is it gonna bust out of the top? I am not taking this trade unless it comes up here. So I just got an alert that I hit my line. All right.
Let me see what it looks like with some of my other indicators here. Did we lose you, Matt?
Nope, no, I'm here.
Okay. I wasn't sure if you were.
I'm just reading. I'm just reading.
I wasn't sure if you were thinking or talking or what you were doing.
No, I'm just reading what Jay's talking about. So yeah, no, I understand. I understand, Jay. I'm not going to read that one out. Appreciate that. So this is what we're waiting for. Just waiting for it to break. Here's that little 1 minute wedge. I actually took a buy here and I exited here. Made like half a pip. I was trying to get an earlier entry. So I like the fact that it bounced here, and I didn't like that it bounced up here, so I exited. So now I'm just waiting.
You got in where your green arrow is that correct?
Yep. And then I exited at my red one, which I'll put on my charts.
I do see this thing as a potential breakout to the top side. What I'm looking, based on Matt's chart, what we're talking, I'm looking to see where you have that white trend line going up, and you have the green trend line, which is going right across. Yeah, that forms a little triangle right where you put his red arrow in. I would like to see a break out of that little triangle. I think it's going to go up in that triangle, maybe reject because of the trend line that it's actually going in. But if it can break through the top of that red arrow, then I say maybe it's going to. Then I would say it'd be more apt to go long then.
Yeah, I want it to break like
right
here.
Right in that area.
So this is what I'm looking at. And if it rejects here, if it rejects really nicely, and then maybe I would look at short. But right now everything's kind of pointing to the long side. So
what is the
me.
range of your white channel?
Oh, that's not much. That's 5 pips.
Yeah, see, and that's the stuff that we're dealing with right now is that it'll go up 5 pips, get you in, you go back down 5 pips, it doesn't quite get your target. And right now it's just bouncing back and forth in the 5 pip range. Once it can break that channel, as it goes further and further away from the bottom trend lines, it's getting more and more, your target is increasing to where you're getting to be more of a range for your target.
Mm-hmm.
But if it breaks out the bottom, it still has that other trend line to the bottom to go through. So that's one reason why I'm saying out of this trade, because right now it's still in a consolidation mode. Once it can break through that white channel trend line, if it can break through the upper white, the upper green, and the upper orange, if it can break through all three of those, then I see you have room for that stick to come into play. And so that's how I kind of read that. We are getting a nice spread on the Aussie US as it's coming up to retest that. Actually, that last pullback, the last series of red candles that I'm seeing was it still maintained the spread. Let's see what our 5 minute looks like. It is starting to have a little bit of a trending activity going on.
Yeah, so this is why we're sitting here. This is what I call the little trap that Al's liking to talk about. Oh yeah, no, I already took it. I already took the 5 pips. We're at. All right, here we go. That's a nice candle. Let's wait for a little bit. I want that candle to close. I got 40 seconds. Oh, or not.
The Aussie just got stronger.
Yep. So I took that one, even though it's 30 seconds earlier than my entry. I'm fine with that. So let's try.
And me, I'm going to see if I'm going to wait for the next pullback before I get in.
Let's find out. Let's erase that. So that's why we wanted to set this little box, right? The little trap. So here's your pullback or not. You might not get one here, Al. The pullback was
just before the wedge.
Right here.
Just
yeah, it was this bounce here. See, it closed above the channel.
Uh-huh.
That's pretty interesting.
That's on your 1 minute. What about your 5 minute? To close on your 5 minute?
Yeah. This was the 5 minute candle close. This one that breached.
You spread those bars out a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Spread the candles out a little bit.
Yeah. Here.
There you go. That's better.
So this was... This one right here was your 5 minute candle close, and this was the start of your new candle. So this would be a pretty good entry because you're breaking this channel here. So you broke the channel. You got 1, 2, 3 bounces, boom. So I exited here just because I wanted to find another entry, and maybe the likelihood it could have come back against me. I didn't really want to take too much heat on it. So now let's just sit on our hands and watch this thing happen. What's the RCS say, Al?
RCS is saying a 6 and 0 and the 15, 6 and 0, 6 and 0 all the way across the board.
Okay.
So
that's pretty dominant.
Yeah, that's pretty dominant.
I haven't seen that often.
Beach Panda put down, got my 6 pip and dip, done for today. I'm smiling.
All right, way to go, Beach Panda.
It's a nice feeling to start your day off like that.
And you must have taken an early entry inside the wedge, I'm guessing.
Did not answer yet.
Let's see.
Let's see if it comes back and retest the, see where it's looking, where it does with the moving averages here. It broke through the upper trend line, purple one, didn't close above it. They broke the wedge.
Here's your little pullback.
Beach Panda said inside the wedge, but strength indicator was at 100 at the time, just prior to the end of the 1 minute.
Okay. That was probably the strength indicator. Oh, the RSI, you mean, Beach Panda?
Yeah, he got in here where I did,
Okay.
except he stayed in it.
And how many pips did you get there, Beach Panda?
You got 6.
6 pips? Okay.
Yes, on MT4, there's an RSI trend strength indicator.
Okay.
Thank you, Beach Panda.
Hey, we're coming in. Other than that, not a whole lot we can really go on. I'm just waiting for for the break. Trap set. Pretty high probability trade. A lot of things are working in our favor. It could give us a head fake, like anything could. And it actually might because of that 30-minute 62. So that's always a possibility. Every time I've seen the 30-minute 62 in the middle of price, I can tell you I probably haven't got one winning trade off of that.
Matt, can you repeat that, please?
Anytime the 30-minute 62 is in the middle of price, like it's flat.
Okay.
Let's do it this way. I'll put it on my charts for the heck of it. So EMA. Oh, here, this will help. That's going to be a custom one. Cancel, close, delete.
Right now, it looks to me like it just bounced off that upper white trend line. Inside that, where let me check this charts here, Matt.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm just going to show them how to add the 62 AMA. So you do source, close, and then.
Okay, I just entered right now. Let me see if I can. And so, if you see my charts, basically we had this channel, this orange and purple channel. It came out, it broke out of that. We also have this white trend line. So right now, this is a trend line I'm looking for it to follow. And we had the channel, we had these parallel trend lines here that Matt had on his, just like this. It broke out of this, and now this is it broke out of this orange one, it broke out of the purple one on this candle up here, came back down, retested the top of this one. What I like about this is that this one's sloping up. All these others were sloping down, which means it was getting further and further away. But right now it broke this upper trend line, which was going from a low to a high area, came down, bounced off of it. If it comes back into here, something may not be right. But if this thing's going to continue, and we got the bounce off of this, the safest bet would be but you're going to lose pips to have a break above here. This could be a first move down. This would be like from a Elliott wave type of situation. This would be your A, B, possibly a C pullback, come up, retest, and then go on up higher or be rejected. Right now, I like this area right in here where it broke this one, broke this one, it broke this trend line, and now it's retesting the white one.
We're making a 1 minute wedge right where it's at right now.
And also on the 1 minute chart, we have our RSI came back down, broke through the 40-60 range into this area, and then hooked back up. And now, in looking at the RSIs, we have here's a low, here's a higher low. It's ranging from here to here, came back up, pulled back a little bit, came up. This was a high one, and then came back down. And now this thing is starting to trend from this area with a little bit higher hook on the RSI.
Yeah, I like that. I like that it didn't make itself to the bottom, but we'll see what happens.
Because now this is signifying that it's starting to have an upward trend with a low, a high, higher low on the pullback, and we'll see if it can come on up here with a higher high. If this comes up with a higher high, we should be starting to get into this target area. But so now my stick is going to be basically reference to, here's where I got in. This was really the break of the trend line right here. If we're looking, but well, I can't use that because I really need to use the channel of the reference that we're looking at. So here's really the channel.
All right. So I got a little something. It's a lot of trend lines, but I'll kind of show a little bit of what's in my head, and try to make it as clear as I can. If you're good with that, Al.
Go ahead.
All right, cool. Let's do that.
But I am in this trade long right now, just so you know.
Okay, yeah, I am too. I've been for a little bit. So, here's that same story. So here's our channel. It broke the channel to the top side. Here's my wedge. It broke my wedge to the top side. Very nice break. Now I drew a wedge. Okay, I took this line here. I'm gonna change the color just so it's easier to see. Let's go something different that I don't have on my charts yet. Need something brighter. Whatever. Let's do red. Now, this one and this one. So this is where I'm looking for this target. 71.94. If that makes sense.
71.94 is, the target I had in the middle of that Fibonacci zone was 71.97.
Right.
And 71.97 is a little bit shorter than the stick. So we're in between here. So we're almost at the same target. Mine's a little bit more conservative. We'll see what happens. But I like these 1 minute wedges. I'm really starting to enjoy them. Because I've seen them hold true so many times. So let's see. Now we're going to wait around and watch. Watch the charts.
Yep. Now we're in the trade. Now we're staying patient, and we have our stops, we have our target set, and we're just going to see what happens.
So this is forming a different wedge. So let's see. I just made it a flat top, but I could have made it a little bit like this. And this is like 1 pip away. It still doesn't change the width of the wedge because I'm starting from over here anyway. It does put my target a little bit lower, 91.92, but I'm still keeping my target where it was. It's really taking its sweet time coming up there, isn't it, Al?
Well, it's got three points that it's having to get through. It had to get through the first orange wedge, had to get through the top upper channel, and then there's another channel which was the original wedge that I drew off the alert, and it has to get through that. So it has 3 points it's got to get through, and it's still in that mid range. But I would say my first target would be looking at 71.91 is my first target. And I'm going to show you that.
71.92 is what I got as my first target, but we'll see what happens. Here, I'm going to stop sharing.
I just took it. So here's the top wedge. I say here's the top wedge or top trend line. Here's the wedge I drew on the alert, but here's another trend line which we've got from. We have the B. Here's the hit. We had the hit here. Let me take this a little bit away so you can see this a little bit better. Came back up. Here's actually the third hit of this trend line, but it also broke but did not close above this one. So right here, this is a point of interest right here at this point right in here is a point of interest that's got to get through that, because here's where everything's converging right in this area. And you can see that's right where pretty much where the price is right now. But this line right here, we have this coming in, this coming. This is an energy point right in here. We have this energy point where it had the hit, came up, broke it, couldn't hold it, came back down, retested the white one. And now it's basically inside this region right in here where it's having to get through this. Once it gets through this, then it's, oh crap, I just moved that. Then it's going to come up into this region. And I think it's going to come up and at the very least, it's going to retest this. And that's at the 9171 area. And that's right here at this green fib line. We have the strength on the 5 minute. We still have we're starting to lose some strength here on the 5 minute with the Aussie. We lost some strength. It was 6 and 0. Now it's 3-0-3-0. So it is struggling to get through this little area. But right now, all the RSIs are moving up. They're moving up. They're moving up. We already had the hook back, which was this one right here. And now we're going to see if it can break with this, if this can get to a higher high. Now this, let me show you with this RSI, here's a high, here's a high. Now it's coming right up to test the energy on this, but you see we actually have lower energy with a higher price. We're starting to get a little bit of a diversion. We'll see what happens with this candle, but here we have a potential divergence from here. If this thing it should go up, it should break the top of this with this energy here. We have a high, higher high, high. Right now we have an equal or lower high. So we have a little bit of a divergence. If this thing goes like this, if this thing closes down with the sloping down and this slopes up, there's our divergence. And then be looking for a possible turnaround.
All right, so we're looking at remember the 4 out of 5 rule. We'll call it 4 out of 5 rule for the stick. So 4 out of 5 times about it's going to go the length of the stick from the top of the wedge to the bottom of the wedge. So in this case, right now it has 4 out of 5 chance to go to 71.99 or 71.97, depending on what where you put your stick. So that would be an 18 pip trade if a person wants to sit in there the whole time. Myself, I like this entry anyway, so I'm not going to put take profit on this. I'm going to let it run for a little bit and we'll see what happens. We might get a hook back here.
Right now, all the moving averages are good on the 1 minute. Let's just go to the 5 minute here and see what that looks like. Yeah, back to the strength of 6, 5, 5 and 0, 6 and 0, 6 and 0. Still has the strength to the upside.
We're getting up to the 9 o'clock hour.
And we are getting to the 9 o'clock hour. This is the move before the 9 o'clock hour, which we often see.
So I will probably be out of this trade by 9 o'clock. Because right now I'm in profit. A couple pips. But we'll see what comes up on this next candle. Because that's a rally. It looks like it's trying to base at the 1 minute, right?
See, we had just
what you mean?
We had equal RSIs are pretty much right flat on the top, going up.
Mm-hmm.
This is pretty much flat across. This gave us divergence right here. Here's another hook. And it hooked at the 60 level, not the 40 or at the 1. It came back up. It went up to 89, and it hooked outside this 40-60 zone. That's a good sign for this thing to continue going up.
It is, yeah. There's something powerful about the
these 40-60 zone. These RCS backed off from a 6-0 to a 3-0, and now it's back up to a 6-0 on this last red candle.
Yeah. It's almost as strong as you can get.
Well, one more. It could go up to 7. I'd like to see it get up to a 7.
It was at 7 while you were looking at the 15.
Oh, was it? Oh, thank you, Christine.
You're welcome. There you're at 7 now again.
And if it can stay at 7, and if it can just flatline at the 7, if it can come up here 7 and just flatline across, that's going to be your trend. That's going to be your strong trend.
So is this what you call a rally base rally, Al?
This would be, I would call, yeah, in a sense.
At a 1 minute, right?
On the 1 minute, let's just see, let me expand this up here.
On the 5 minute, it looks better, Al.
A rally base on the 5, does it? Yeah, it does. There you go. Yeah, this would be the rally base rally that I'd be looking at on this would be where it started down here.
Yeah.
Rally, 1 candle base, and then rally again. So on a rally base rally scenario, this was just sort of a trending, but now this was the push up. This is where it broke. So from here to the top, back to the pullback, let's draw our Fibonacci line. So I take it from the origin of the rally, which would be right here, take it up to the top of the rally, which is that red line where it broke out, came back down, and I bring that yellow, bottom yellow line where it says the zeros, bring that down to the pullback, which would be right about there. And then the target is going to be up around this area right in here, from the 79 to the 1. Is anything after, I'd be looking at, generally I draw them from the 78.6 retrace extension to the 1 extension, which would be right there. Oftentimes it'll break the 1 and come up and retest this one, which is right where my target is. But right now it's bouncing right at the 78 is right at the bottom of this blue zone that I drew out earlier. There's just about had 6 pips. One little push still. Let me see.
Yeah, don't be afraid of those 1 minute pullbacks, right? Because you're looking for a little bit bigger of a move than that.
But this is the last. This can when this 1 minute candle closes. This could be the close of a 5 minute candle.
Right. So let's see what happens.
Our new 5 minute candle is going to start right. This is going to be our new 5 minute candle right at. Here's 55.
Yep. It's 2:57 on your 5 minute candle.
New time reference right there. When this candle closes, that's going to be the close of the 5 minute. This will be the open of the next 5 minute candle, right where this line.
Oh, this one here. Oh, the next one.
It's going to open. Yeah, this is we're at minute 4 of the 5 minute candle right now.
I get it. Okay.
Or are we?
No, 2:30.
No, that's not right, is it? That's not right. No. Oh, I want a 5 minute chart. That's why. Okay.
All right.
Let me get back to my 1 minute chart.
Yeah, you're confusing me too.
Yeah, I thought it was on 1 minute chart, but I wasn't.
Ava just got her 7 pips.
Nice.
She mostly followed the 15-minute candle.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, Jay. But he was saying awesome, Ava. So I just I read it too fast. Sorry.
But now we have a little bit of a higher price here's the divergence is starting to confirm the divergence right in here.
Now, if we get another hook back on the RSI, the slow RSI right where it's at, then it would be pretty nice, but we'll see what happens.
No, I'm right about back to where I entered the trade. I'm still positive by 2 pips. It was up to about 5. I did see 6.2 pips on my profit margin.
Yeah, I had 6 point.
And I thought real hard about taking it right there.
Yeah, but I still believe that we're still going up to the target because it's a high probability that it's going to get up there. So I'm comfortable letting it pull back when there's this much of a move up.
We did that. We have the flip now on the U.S. He flipped on the 1 minute. Now just flip back again.
But it didn't do it on the 5, did it?
If this green moving average on this 1 minute, if it comes down and closes below the yellow one. If it comes down and hooks to the top and hooks back up, I'm good. If it comes down and closes below the yellow, then it's probably going to come down and retest the 62, which is all the way down here. I'm not going to let this, if need be, I'll break out with the break even, maybe make a couple pips, and then we'll
maybe look at another entry when it gets to the bottom.
No sense riding a winning trade all the way down only to have it. Now,
Nope.
Right now it's bouncing off. It came down, bounced off of this one. It came up. Now it's bouncing off of this one.
Yeah, that's the channel, isn't it?
That's the channel.
Right.
Well, this was the parallel channel right here. This was the parallel where it broke out the first time. Came right down. This is actually where. This is actually the new trend line. This white is now the new trend line. And we may get a high, may get a low, may get a lower high, may get a lower low, retest this, and then go back up again. Right now it's still testing. See how this, take a note of this. Here's the 5-period moving average, the green one. It came down, the price came down, broke below the yellow, but still respecting the yellow to a certain point, respect to the top of the upper wedge so far. Now the screen is coming down. Now, if this thing can hook back up around before it crosses, that's going to be a good sign. This is just a pullback. If it hooks and closes below and starts trending on down, then it's going to probably retest this one.
Yeah, check where your RSI is. So
right now, I think
you're probably going to get a hook at the 88. What is it? 88, 11.
Let's see. We just got the hook here.
Yeah.
And all the strength is still, I still show a 6 and a 0 strength. So you still want to still favor the upside to the Aussie. This is just I'm looking at this as just a pullback. Now from this move, I know these charts start looking pretty busy after a while, but let me, so if
maybe you're, oh yeah, okay, you still have your Fibbo on there. Yeah. I just have mine as the same color across.
So I took this thing down from, this is the origin of the move.
Yeah.
And actually I can justify taking it from a lower time frame standpoint. I can take it down to the bottom of the next lower.
Yeah.
It pulls up. Here's a pullback. Again, now the target is up in here, which is still right about where it was, where I made it the first time.
Yeah, 91, 94. 95, 91, 95, which is my other target that I had.
I could move it up like that now, which is a 78 to, this is now the new 78 to 1 area right in here.
Yeah. So we had that nice little hook back at the 11, just like we mentioned. So let's see what happens.
And you can see it formed another little wedge right here. Here's up, it came down. My little trend tool here, actually, if I put this right up and just align it with this level here and bring it on over. It's funny how all these, geometrically, these things always seem to kind of fit together. Yeah, the pullback and the pullback, you bring the trend from the top over to where the other trend line is. Now you have another little triangle wedge. If it comes back and tests it and breaks, great, you're going up higher. If it comes up and can't do that and it breaks to the bottom, I'm going to be out of this trade.
It's just trying so hard to get up there.
You still have the strength. I said, let me go to the 5-minute chart. I still don't think we've had any more new alerts, have we?
No.
Nope. Nothing since 7 o'clock. And we're coming almost to the 9 o'clock hour, so we may want to keep that in mind.
Yeah, like I said, I wanted to be out of it by 9 o'clock. But now I seem like I'm just wishy-washy because I'm still pretty confident that it's going to hit our target. For it to break that channel, that was a pretty good thing in my books.
Right.
Breaking the channel, breaking the second channel, breaking the wedge to the top. I mean, that's 3 confirmations. We've got your RCS tool says buy strong, where RSIs are kind of indicating a nice move up. So let's see if
what I don't like is that we now have our divergence already happened, and now I'm gonna get out of this trade.
You're jumping out, eh?
Yep.
So break even.
Break even.
That's fine.
I covered my spread.
There might be another entry right here.
It could be. That may have been premature.
That's okay. We just trade our plan, right? And that's what we're trying to do. Was just trade the plan.
I didn't want to see it close. Now it could. I didn't want to see it close below this area, this bottom trend. It came up. It tested this area. Couldn't make it. Now it made a high, a low, lower high, and now it just made a lower low. This could be our A, B, C retracement for it to come back up again and retest this area, which is basically the bottom of this whole blue zone that we are identifying.
Yeah, that was a fair exit.
It's all very precision, all very calculated.
Yeah.
Now it still didn't break the top of this. This is still the major area. This white line is still our major trend. That's from all the way over here at this parallels where it first broke out the first time, and now it's maintaining this white trend line. So this one was broken. So I'm going to take this one back. I'm going to take that one off. This was broken, taking that one off. This was, I think that was our, I'm not sure what that, I think that was our stick. I think that's what I drew that was. So right now, what we're looking at is we have project a bounce off of here. If it breaks, now we have, that's got to break the trend line, and it's got to break the 62 to the downside. If it does, all bets are off. We may have already had the trade with the fact that you got your 7 pips out of it. I just about got 7 pips straight. This was this area. So right now it's still trading inside this whole black region.
Yeah, I should have taken my pips and then exited and then look for another entry.
Now it still could get a bounce off of here, and if it does, and if it bounces off of here and breaks, then we could still have an opportunity to maybe come back and get our 7. Now they're getting a nice little bounce.
Let's see what happens here.
Al. Back up.
Not yet. See if it'll retest the wedge before it does. These 1 minute wedges bring a whole new level of precision to the entries. That's how, just trying to find a way that you can get into the trade a little bit earlier, stay in a little bit longer. It's the 1 minute wedges. They're so accurate.
Now I can see where this thing could very possibly come down and retest the yellow 60, yellow 13, which is B, right? Now if this trend continues, well, it's a 15-minute chart. We still have the 62 here, which is right at the same point as our 30-minute 62, which is right at the point where so we have our 35 and 15 all right here. I could see very comfortably, I can see very possibly that it's going to retest this area right in here. And if I look over, and I bet I'd be willing to say that if I look to the left, I'll probably find a area where this could be a disman's, if I can get this thing to draw, from here to here. Let's just say if there's something off to the left over here that, you do see that if you look at your 15-minute chart, you'll see there's a lot of consolidation. It came up here, hit here, rejected, hit, rejected, hit, crossed over, retested. So this area right in here where I just drew that, where those 62s are, There's a lot of activity. Everything seems to want to come back. It's like a magnet, keeps on coming back to it.
I might take a second entry.
Each panda would like to know if the 1 minute to 15-minute trend is down, are there 7 pips to catch there?
If the 15-minute trend is down, I wouldn't sell.
1 minute dash 15-minute trend.
Yeah, if the 15-minute is pointing down, trend is pointing down, and you only have 7 pips to the top side, I would wait till it gets to the top and then take it short. I would not try to trade against the 15-minute. I would only use that as a pullback in the direction of the 15 or any higher time frame. It's sort of like a rowboat trying to pull the ocean liner. The ocean liner is going to win. The higher the time frame, the bigger the boat.
I like that. Yeah, I wouldn't be in any position to sell in this scenario. Don't try to catch the reversal, right?
Don't try and pick the top and don't try and pick the bottom. Let's say we're after 9 o'clock hour. So right now we are now just finishing. Let's see, here's 9. Right here, this blue candle right here is the first minute of our new hour, of our 9 o'clock, of our 1 hour candle. And you can see where it closed high, it closed here. And when it opened, it retraced back. So there's a good chance that, and generally when a candle closes, it usually takes trades in the opposite direction of which the candle is. So if you look at this as being a 1 minute candle from, so here's the opening of the 1 hour. This, I'm gonna move this over. I'm gonna just move this out of the way here. And I'm gonna take this. So here is the close of the last 1 hour candle right here on this red candle. That was the close. It opened up higher. So the 1 minute so this is the new 1 hour. So if I take this, let's do it this way. Come over here to, let's just go 30-minute candle. Let's just go with a 30-minute candle. There's 9:30. So we're looking at, this is going to be the price action of the next 1 hour candle. So if we look here where the close of this one, so here's the open right here, and it went up higher. But it only went up to there. That was as high as it got. Let me just undo this part here. So this was the first push of our 1 hour candle. And now, so it closed, the last one closed low, next one went up higher, and now I'm going to project that it's going to come down lower. So this next, as soon as it broke the open, now we have, now this 1 hour candle is now, let's make it red. It's not really a supply zone, but actually, let me do it this way. Another box. And now it's red. And it's going to be red. And then, so right now, I'm going to, if I move this over to another 1 hour candle, so this is the price action of this next hour. If I come over here to where the last hour was, which was at 30-minute candle. We were using 30 minutes. So let's go to from 9 o'clock to 8:30.
Right where that tall blue one is.
Right there.
There you
There.
go. Mhm.
So this was the open of the last candle. So this is really the low. So right here, if I take this and move it to the low of the last hour, which is right there, if this thing makes a higher low, then I'd say the trend is probably going to be going to the upside. But first started out, it went up higher. Right now, here's where the last candle on the last previous hour, this was the low. So right now we have a high. Now we have, this is a 1 hour candle right over here, this box right over here. So we have a high. Now we have a lower high or a higher low, high, low, higher low. Now the question is this going to come back? It pulled back. If it breaks to the top of here, it's probably going to go higher.
Notice your slow EMA, the no, not slow EMA, the slow RSI, the 8 period. It never went outside of the box there, the 40-60 zone.
It stayed right in this 40-60 zone.
That's a pretty good sign to me. It means that there's enough upward pressure that it's going to have a hard time coming down. And you see how the fast RSI never made it to the, well, we could call it extreme, the 11.
I'm going to put this right over here so we know whether or not it makes a lower low.
You got that's your 62. And is that your 15-minute 62 or your 5?
That's my 1 minute 62 right here.
Oh, is it? Okay.
That's good.
And see, that's good for me.
Bouncing off. So it broke the trend, bouncing off the 1 minute. But this, I don't like the fact that these have crossed over. And that's one reason why I got out, because as it was coming down where it was trying to, like right up here, it was trying to, and then it was heading back up again. But then it crossed. And then it made, once it broke that, that's when I got out of the trade. Now I can reasonably say, okay, I'm going to see if I can get back in again. We have a hook down here at the bottom.
Yeah, we have a higher low in the indicator.
But from a 30-minute candle standpoint, yeah, actually I kept saying 1 hour, I really mean 30-minute. From a 30-minute candle standpoint, it's making higher lows.
Oh, that's interesting. I never thought of doing that.
We'll see how it all fits up here. It's just, all I'm doing is showing different ways of looking at the same picture.
Yeah. Not in conflict though. Because we're not in conflict. We're finding, maybe there's something you like drawing. Maybe channels is what you want to do. A lot of people like to trade channels. You know, you got a downward channel right where you're at. You know what the opposite of a channel is? It's a wedge. Because when you have a channel and it breaks out, it forms a wedge. And that's why I like putting channels at different time frames.
And if we look over here on this, again, this is just another way. I'm just trying to show a different way of looking at the same picture. Here's our 30-minute candle from here to here. This is the previous 30, from 8:30 to 9 o'clock. And you see where this was the close of the previous 30-minute. There's the open, right where the line is. And you can see where it went up, came back down. It broke it opened, it went down just a little bit. That's where it tested the wedge. And then it made a new high. So if you look at that picture, you're looking at, here was the open on this one. Here was the high. Up there. Here was the low. Let me take this. Here was the low of it. Very small little wick, and then no wick at all at the top. And it actually came down with from here to where this thing closed. This is your wick right up in here. Here's the body of the candle. Here's the body. Here's the wick. This other wick is actually all the way up here. So it has it really has a very small body of this. And now it's making So now we come over here, which is where the low was. You can see it's coming, it's changing, it's starting to consolidate.
So when it consolidates, it's going to form another wedge.
And if it breaks to the top of this one in this 30-minute period, this is just showing the price action in a 30-minute period. And actually, it really has a little bit of a wedge here. Now this was the top. This is where the candle opened. This is where the high. In the first minute, it went all the way up to the top. Second minute, third minute came down here, and right now it's consolidating right in this area.
And you want to know why that candle was so dominant when it broke to the top side is because there was a 1 minute channel. So it's a downward 1 minute channel from the most recent high. And those channels, well, like we said, when you have a channel, so you see the high way up at the top, Al? Oh, you got a nice trend line bounce. Yeah. From there down to your bottom of your candles there, you got a little downward 1 minute channel. And now it's bouncing off the top of the higher time frame channel.
You're talking about this channel right here.
Yeah, exactly. So now that's going to break that channel, considered like the channel breaker.
And this is kind of like a flag pattern. We got to move up, come back down, a flag. It bounces back and forth.
Oh, that's a bigger, sorry, Al, that's a bigger wedge. Look at that. You can see it now.
Yeah.
You can see the bigger wedge. So I'm going to put that on my charts because we know that 4 out of 5 times it's going to go the length of the stick from the top of the wedge to the bottom of the wedge.
The fact that this could not, in this half hour, it could not make a lower low over here. And this is, I mean, like I said, this is like looking at the micros of a 30-minute candle right in here. It's just showing the price, the 1 minute price action inside a 30-minute candle. Just to view this as a top of the candle, this is the bottom of the candle, and this is a reference to the previous candle before. And you're seeing it did not make a lower low, made a high. So to think of this as a 30-minute candle that just made a new high, made a higher low, and now it came down. It's coming back up into the. This is the range that it's basically trading in right now. These are the wicks. It's consolidating. It's just consolidating in here.
I'm trying something out to see. You had 71.94 as a target, right?
Oh, that was the upper target. Yeah, 71.94. That's basically this zone right up in here. This is.
So I've got remember that wedge that we just saw when you drew the channel? You made a bigger wedge, very evident. Well, I just drew a stick there, and I went from the bottom of the wedge to the top of the wedge, and it says 71.94. So to me, because of all this fun that we've been having for the last half hour, and we've only got 15 minutes or
less,
12 minutes left in the session. If it comes up here to 71.94, I'll take my profits out, and we will live to trade another day. So I've got 2 positions in there. If it goes from right where it's at right now to the 71.94, it's going to be 9 pip. So you would get at least 7.5 or so, depending on your broker. So we're about to see what's going to happen. And I've actually have 2 positions. So a little bit more risky, but it just felt like there was too much confirmation for what was going on. We're just working with probabilities, right?
That's all it is.
That's all it is.
A series of probabilities, and the more confirmations you can have, the better, the higher the probability.
Yeah. What do we got now? So
this area is
slow.
basically the wick of the strong move.
Coming back to the 1 minute 62, we've got the multiple RSI that could hook back if the slow RSI comes out of the power zone or the middle. And then if we get a hook back when the slow RSI is in the middle and the bottom one, the fast one, hook back up, then that could be the sign that this is turning around. Right now it's breaking out of the bottom of my new wedge that I formed, but I could have made it incorrectly.
Here's the bottom of this last 30-minute candle. Here's the wick. Its red zone is the wick of this 30-minute candle. And so I'm just bringing the trend line from the bottom here to right below where the price is to the bottom of, if it breaks this, and it breaks this yellow line, it could come down and retest the bottom of this and then go. But then we're starting to have a new trend.
Yeah, that would be different.
Right now it's just going, it's consolidating right in here. It's just consolidating.
This could be it.
Nice little hook down here at the bottom. This is the high. So this is the high, basically from here to here. This is the range from this red candle here. This is the range of this 30-minute. And we're only 21 minutes into this thing. So the range of this last 20-minute bar is from the top of here to the bottom. We're only looking at a 3-pip range over the last 30 minutes.
It's been slow.
The average true range on a 1-minute chart, if I pull that up, and the average true range, just to show you what it is, it's going to be average true range. Is my favorites here, average true range. The average true range, in this case, is 1 pip on a 1-minute chart.
Oh, that's an interesting tool, Al.
Yeah. And that's just, I can just put it on up there, just keep it down low, I can just see what it is. If I make this a 5-minute chart, average true range of the last whatever time period is 3 pips on 5 minutes.
On 5.
That's pretty narrow. That's a pretty narrow range.
Yeah, that's that means that whatever it was trying to do, if it was trying to come down, there's too much upward pressure. And it's just making those
and if we're looking at, since we're referencing a 30-minute range with these bars, if I go to a 30-minute, average true range is only 8 pips over the last, I think these are probably on a 14 pip period move, I think. Let's see what the settings of this was. Default settings inputs are 14. Yeah, from the last 14 bars, the average 30-minute candle is only 8 pips.
That's terrible. There's
no volatility here.
Yeah,
and so right now we're looking at 7 more minutes before the market opens. It's pretty much right back into the area where we drew the wedge in the first, the channel in the first place. It broke it, came back up. This was basically your head fake. You're probably looking at 7. If you got your 7 pips, congratulations, but you probably just barely got it from here to here. It was 10 pips minus 1.5 for the spread on both sides. You barely got your 7 pips, depending on what your entry was on this breakout.
Even if you took the bounce on the 1-minute channel, you're gonna struggle to get your 7 pips. I think I had 6.5. Was the best I had on that, but kind of waiting on our hands.
From a 1 minute standpoint, I'm just going to mark this as being demand right there. This is supply. Actually, I don't want to do that because I'm going to mess up my, well, I'll make another red channel here. All right, so what I'm trying to do is trying to let you see the same thing in a different format. And that way everybody's brains work differently. Let's make this red here.
Yeah, we're all a little different, right?
Yeah,
and some of us are a little more different than others. That's what makes the world special.
Each Panda says, with the ATR time in consideration, I'd have to shave again before I hit another 7 pips.
That's about right. That's about right.
And then Jay wants to know, Al, how do you highlight prices like the ATR you have in the red box right hand side?
Oh, I can go over here to where on the left hand side where I get put out, and you'll see this little series of information here. And if you just go on the little wheel to the settings, click on that settings, and that gives you the inputs. The length is 14 period, and style, that's just the color. That's all it is. And that's just a standard ATR that you can pick up off of TradingView with. If you just go to public library with average true range, it'll pop up. And I just put it in there. I don't use it all the time, but a lot of times if I'm kind of curious to see what cut type of range it is, I'll just put it on. And then when I go, I can just take it off like that, and it's gone.
All right, we're coming down.
And we're almost, and it's kind of nice to see where the next 15-minute, I mean, that's why I sometimes put these little spread out 30, 15-minute candles, especially if there's a news announcement. I like to put it right before a news announcement. So it gives me a little bit of a heads up that something's going on. And I'll just trade this down, maybe make this for, there's a news announcement coming in I'll just have, that way have it like, there's some news coming in.
Oh, Al.
Yes.
Jay wants to know, yes, on the ATR settings, yes, but he wants, when you had it on your right side bar, you know, where your price bar is, all the way to the right, how did you make it right there? Excuse me. You see how the ATR on the right-hand side is red?
Yeah. Oh, how do you do that?
Yes, that's what he was asking.
That's probably with the main settings.
Show indicator labels, I believe it's called.
I think it's on the settings. If you just right click on anywhere on the chart away from anything else, you go to settings and you come over here to, let's see, I think it's on symbols, maybe symbols. No, not that one.
No.
Indicator
titles. That's what it is, I think.
Let me see. Nope.
Yeah.
Not that one.
No. Okay.
Appearance. Try appearance here.
Hold on.
Session break, trading, events, scale. How about scale? Here we go. Indicator value. If I click on click on the indicator value, make sure that's off of scale. Indicator last value, and then indicator name. If I click on that, it goes it away. So these two right here are what makes this happen. Indicator name label and indicator last value label.
So that was helpful for all of us.
Good.
Jay says, brilliant.
Okay. And that's how that's it. Okay, you see how this thing's starting to break out? There we go. See how it's breaking out of the bottom?
Yeah.
So now it just made a new low to the last. It made a high. Here's a low. Here's a high. Now it just made a new low. It just broke this 30-minute candle, made a lower. Here's a high. Here's a lower high. Now it just made a lower low, not by much, but just in this last couple of minutes, it just broke the bottom of that.
In your RCS, USD is 7 and Aussie is 1.
On the 1 minute?
Yes.
What about the 15?
I don't have my trading view up.
302 right now. So right now, the dollar just got stronger. The dollar just got stronger on the 1, the 5, and not quite. So this is as we're opening up the market at 9:30. We're starting to get a little bit of strength to the dollar. Let's see how that plays out here. Could be a down day in the market today, actually. But this holds true. And we now have 9:30. So now this is a new 30-minute candle right here. So this was the range.
It's coming back down to test the top of the wedge, my original wedge.
And so we're going to be out of here in about another few minutes. But so now this is no longer. So right now what we have here is we have the next candle this is the candle where here was the open. And here was the low. And this was the price action. Open. Here's the high. It's got a much bigger low on this one. You can see how this was kind of engulfing. Or as it was engulfing, because here was the high of this candle up here.
So it's tagging the top of my wedge.
So I'm not sorry that I got out of that trade.
No, that was a good move.
And so I said it's 9:30. Any other last-minute questions and comments? And some of you did okay today. It's kind of again, there's still a lot of head faking going on around this. Still trading in a relatively narrow range.
Beach Panda says it seems that the opening of the New York Stock Exchange usually triggers reversals. Is that my imagination?
Nope.
Nope.
It's not your imagination.
But actually, what you're seeing is you're actually seeing the pre-market moves up to 9 o'clock. You've seen a lot of that where you're starting to see where you get some overnight consolidation when the London market opens up. And then about a half hour before the New York session opens, you'll start seeing a lot of big moves up to 9 o'clock. And then after 9 o'clock, you start seeing the reversal. And then by the time the market opens up, it reverses back down from where it was. It continues on down just a little bit, and then it comes back up again. So, no, that's not your imagination. It's what it's saying is that you're starting to make observations. And so with this, right here was the, if I spread this out, this is a small, right here, this is a drop base, nice little doji right in there. This market, when at 9:30, the candle closed, this half-hour candle closed, it has no wick at all right there, which makes me think this thing's going to open up, come down, and then it's going to come back. And here's our next 30-minute zone right here. Here was the open. Here was the high. There's like nothing there. And the rest of this, from this half-hour candle, from the 9:30 open, this is all red.
Beach Panda says, thank you. I thought I was having daytime computer screen drunkenness symptoms.
See, now this is that was a nice little open. Straw moved down at the open. Now if it can break through the top of this, can break through so this one's been broken now, so this one's no longer in play. This one is, actually, if I extend this one out, it might actually have something on this one still. Settings, I'm going to extend this one to the right. Came back down. It hasn't tagged this trend line yet. If I move this one over. It's forming a new channel to the downside. Again, this is on a 1 minute chart, so don't put too much weight on that. That's a very small rowboat.
Mm-hmm.
But this just gives you sort of a micro view of a 30-minute candle and price action of a 30-minute candle. And on that note, it's pretty much we need to wrap this thing up. Again, we're going to be here again tonight at 9:30, as planned anyway, unless something undetermined develops. But right now we should be here at 9:30 in the morning, or 9:30 tonight. We'll be here for about an hour and a half or so.
If you're not going to be here at 9:30, are you going to send out a notice, or we should just?
They just plan on being here at 9:30 right
Okay.
now, and Brian may be here with me tonight. I don't know.
Okay.
He's feeling better.
Okay.
Oh, that's great. Good.
So I'm going to be, hopefully I'll be talking with him tonight. I don't know if he'll be in the room or not, but he may be. And
I probably will be here.
Okay, that'd be good if you are.
Yeah. Yeah,
and,
probably.
So anyway, I know it gets late for some people, but that's what we do. And we'll see everybody tonight or tomorrow at the same time. And that, stay green. Have a good day.
All right. Take care, guys.
Everybody, be well. God bless.
God bless you too.